Hello and welcome. According to the Pathfinder poll application, in this video I will try to review 4 projects together, and their names are iZUMi Finance, Thales, Robonomics Network, and Spacemesh projects. I have my Excel file already. I will go through it. Whenever necessary, we will check the CoinGecko pages and the web pages of the projects. Let's start. The first criteria is a ranking. So as you can see in here, iZUMi is located around 1,700. Thales is located around 1,350. Robonomics network is moving around 2,400. Spacemesh is moving around 1,000 plays on CoinGecko. And they're all getting fully green mark because they have enough space in front of them. If they work hard, if the projects get better, then there is a possibility for them to increase in the ranking. So the next criteria is category. In the category criteria, let's try to understand the projects. iZUMi Finance webpage is directly showing us it is a DeFi project, so decentralized finance project, because we can see there is a decentralized exchange, then we can see the pools, pump, farm, etc. This is an obvious decentralized finance project, and the main feature of this project is there is a flexible pool system in this project. You have some options. There is this bridge analytics, and as you can see, they have added the pump feature, and also this project is giving service under many blockchains, as you can see in here. The main chain is Ethereum, but now it is serving on many other exchanges. So the category is decentralized finance for iZUMi Finance. The next project is Thales. When we go to the webpage of this Thales, we can see it is connected with the Synthetics ecosystem. Also, it has some connection with the Python ecosystem. And as you can see, it is a pioneering AMM, automated market making architecture and trusted liquidity pool service product provider. So you can check the details on the webpage, but the main thing, under their token, they have their staking, bridge, liquidity pool staking. And as you can see in here, AMMLP, this is the main product of the project. They're providing an automated market making infrastructure for synthetics, for Ethereum, for some chains, and it has a connection with Polkadot as well. And as you can see, there are some features as overtime USDC, overtime WETH, and overtime Thales. And there is a sports AMM, Parler AMM, Thales AMM SUSD, but they're closed now. As you can see, they're saying round ended, and we are not sure it will be activated again or not. This part is actually working a bit like a betting system. So the category for Thales is again a DeFi. This is a bit different than iZUMi Finance, but they're both DeFi projects. The next project is Robonomics Network. When we go to the web page of Robonomics Network, we can see a picture. It is describing the project good. As you can see, there are 2 people. One of them is using the glasses, one of them using a mobile device, and all these devices are connected to each other, and they're connected to the Robonomics network. If we go down a little bit more, we can see there is a device coming soon. There is another device coming soon, etc. Smart contracts and systems are coming soon, and they have some NFT packages, etc. But the main idea of the project is Internet of Things plus decentralized physical infrastructure. This project is trying to create some devices that can collect information around and communicate each other, and they will give the information to the blockchain itself. So that is why this project's category is basically decentralized physical infrastructure, but this project is not fully active yet. So iZUMi Finance and Thales are there active, but Robonomics Network and Spacemesh, they are not really active. Robonomics not really active. Spacemesh layer 1 is actually active, but we can consider it's still in the test phase. So the next project is Spacemesh. When we check the Spacemesh, we can see it is an innovative new layer 1 project, and it is a proof of space-time project. When you check Google as Spacemesh Explorer, you can find the Explorer page of the project. The chain itself is working actually, but we can consider it is still in very, very early phases. But the category is layer 1 plus smart contracts in a way. Next criteria is circulation. Let's consider circulation supply together with age. For iZUMi Finance, after 3 years, circulation supply is around 40%. Thales, after 3 years, the circulation supply is around 50%. For Robonomics network, after 5 years, the circulation supply is around 90%. For Spacemesh, after 1 year, the circulation supply is around 3%, which is getting a red mark. We need to be careful on that one. For the exchanges, iZUMi, Thales, and Spacemesh, these projects are listed on enough exchanges. There is no problem with them. Only Robonomics is listed in some exchanges. The number is actually low. We need to keep an eye on this one. For the next criteria, GitHub, Thales is getting fully green mark. The GitHub shares are being updated regularly, no problem at all. For iZUMi Finance, Robonomics, and Spacemesh, GitHubs are still working in the middle situation. Not really bright, but there's no problem, so they're getting a light green mark. For Twitter, all projects are getting fully green mark. The posts are coming up regularly, no problem. For Scope, since iZUMi Finance and Thales are working fully, they are getting a large scope with fully green mark. For Robonomics and Spacemesh, things are still in the early phase. The products are not fully launched yet. That is why they're getting light green marks. For the block shares, Robonomics network is getting a fully green mark. The posts are coming up regularly, no problem. For iZUMi, Thales, and Spacemesh, the block shares are a bit slower than normal. That is why they're getting light green mark. For YouTube, I could not find iZUMi Finance YouTube channel. If you know it, please share the link. I will be happy. For Thales, Robonomics, and Spacemesh, they're getting light green marks. They have YouTube channels and many shares as well, but the shares are slowing down in the recent months. That is why I have given light green mark. For Robonomics, there are many new videos, but some of them are actually like lifestyle vlogs. They are not really fully connected with the Robonomics network. So I have given the light green mark. That is why. The next criteria is team. Thales projects teams try to stay behind the scenes, but they still have some AMAs in a written way. We can find them if we search deep, but they still want to stay a bit anonymous. That's why it's getting a red mark. But for the other projects, iZUMi Finance, Robonomics, and Spacemesh, they're getting a light green mark. We can find their team members. They are in front of the camera. We can find them in YouTube channels as well, but they are not really so much active. That is why I have given light green marks. So we have tried to understand the basics of these projects. Let's try to comment of them a little bit. For iZUMi Finance, the project is complex. Yes, it is on many exchanges and it has many features, but it is also creating a complexity, especially for the new crypto users, and there is a huge competition in this area. But the positive part is the project is flexible with many chains and with many options. That is why regular crypto users, good crypto users, maybe they will be interested using iZUMi Finance in time. For Thales, again, things are complex. It's really hard to understand. It is connected with Synthetics and Pyde, and Synthetics and Pyde are also complex projects. For a normal crypto user, Thales project is a project which is hard to understand and involve. And even if they want to involve, they have some loose risks. But Thales is working on these things, but currently these risks are still exist. So the positive part is the project's infrastructure is flexible and it is an infrastructure service provider for some other projects as well, and it has an innovative infrastructure. This is the positive part. For Robonomics network, the project is complex. Again, for regular crypto users, hard to understand, and the products are not fully launched yet. We do not know user interfaces, etc. Yes, they have an academy. They're telling these kinds of things, teaching these kinds of things, but things are still in early phase. That is why we have some complex waiting line. And the positive part is it is an innovative project. And after Helium, there are many decentralized physical infrastructure projects, and Robonomics is one of the good ones, which is creating a good infrastructure. The academy is sustainable tokenomics and information model. In a long term, we need to keep an eye on this project as well. Again, Spacemesh is a complex project, hard to handle, and the progress is still slow. Again, for Robonomics, the progress is slow also. These projects are very innovative projects, but it takes huge amount of time if you want to create a sustainable, innovative project in the crypto industry. Coding the things that cannot be changeable is quite hard. So we have tried to understand the basics. We have tried to give some comments. Now let's try to give some comments in price wise. For iZUMi Finance and Thales, I will consider them together. And for Robonomics and Spacemesh, I will try to consider them together. So for iZUMi and Thales, they're both DeFi projects. Yes, they have some key differences between each other, but basically, DeFi projects are working in a same way. They have some empty pools, and once the project launches, they are starting to fill these pools. And after some point, for example, 40% of filling the pools, the projects are getting a little bit mature. They are starting to get some budget from their projects, and then they start to grow. So iZUMi and Thales, they are working in this way. They have been filling their pools with the community involvement, and after this point, after 3 years, with 40% and 50% circulation supply, now it's time for them to grow in the crypto industry. So it means that in a middle term, these projects have a potential to grow in price wise slowly, not really fast, because the pools are really sensitive and the codes are very sensitive. They need to be very careful on hack attempts as well. But other than these middle term growth possibility, if we are entering a huge bull market, of course the price will jump at some point, but after the jump, I estimate the price will go down a little bit, and then the lower point will increase a little bit to the up. So for these projects, that is all I can say. For Robonomics and Spacemesh, these projects are very hard to handle. They're very innovative projects. So we need to consider these projects in a very long term. So if we consider these projects very long term, they have a potential to grow suddenly until the top 200 in the crypto industry. How this is possible? So I am considering Robonomics has released their devices, and many people are using the devices, and the ecosystem is working sustainable way. For Spacemesh, again, I am considering the proof of space-time is working in a perfect way, and many crypto communities started to use Spacemesh ecosystem. After that point, there is a possibility for these projects to jump in the price significantly and start to stay in top 200. To make this happen, these projects need to continue their developments in a sustainable way, in a calm way. They need to be consistent in working, and they need to be very careful about the hack attempts. It's a very, very high risk task. So, other than this very long term consideration, if we are entering in a hard bull market, the prices of these projects will jump at some point, I think. But after the jump, we need to be very careful for these two projects, because these projects are very long term projects. Plus, one of them has a very high circulation supply, and the other one has very low circulation supply. So the very high circulation supply actually good thing, which is getting a fully green mark, but the products are not fully ready yet. For a project which is not fully ready yet with circulation supply 90%, it contains risks. For Spacemesh, the circulation supply is very low and it also contains risks. Though both projects are very long-term projects and they have some issues with their circulation supplies, because of these things, in the bull market, if the price jumps, I estimate it will go down significantly fast. After the jump, we need to keep an eye on this thing as well for these projects. So for these projects, these are all that I can say. If you have any questions, please leave a comment. I will try to answer your questions. And please do not forget, nothing is financial advice, and I'm not a financial advisor. Please be very careful in the crypto industry. Hope to see you in the next one. Take care. Bye bye.